Welcome back to another episode of Rob Sports Center, man. And I'm not gonna bore y'all to death with a long intro. We're gonna get straight into the action. So this is a video that I have been waiting to give my take on right here, and that's if the GOAT debate is dead. So first things first. If you like this type of content, make sure that you smash that thumbs up button because this is gonna be a good video. And I don't like asking y'all to smash a thumbs up before you watch it, but hey, this one is gonna be interesting. So here's my thing. I was looking at a talk show the other day. I can't remember exactly what show it was, and they was talking about is the GOAT debate dead? And one guy was like, no, because the GOAT debate never existed. And that's the same thing that I was saying. If you know me, you know that I'm a Mahomes fanboy. You know that I have a lot of respect for Mahomes, how he approached the game, how he plays the game, and just his competitiveness as a whole. Right? So my thing is this. Everything that I always told people, every time I told people, whenever we would have those debates, or when I would hear people having those debates, or if I even hear people trying to put a comparison to draw a comparison, I'm saying, hey man, we're trying to take a guy like Mahomes, who's only been in the league, however many years he had been at the point when they start having these GOAT debates, and put that up against a guy who's been in the league for 20 years, 20 plus years, 2 decades, and who has dominated as long as he's dominated. Okay, cool. Mahomes has championships and Super Bowl appearances, but his statistics, quarterback wise, that Mahomes is not the top of the chart at because of his career. It hasn't been a longevity in his career. I like the growth of Mahomes from when he first came in being pretty much a gunslinger and losing that deep threat ability when they lost Tyreek Hill and things of that nature, or when teams started playing them more so in the cover three to not give up those deep plays downfield. He had to actually become what you would consider a game manager and say, hey, I'm going to just take what they give us. It's probably not going to be a lot of explosive shots down the field anymore because teams are strategically taking that away based off defenses and adjustments. So I'm going to have to take what we can take underneath, and eventually we may get those shots underneath, but we can't live on those shots no more because that's just not our offense. So you look at him from that year, his second year start, his first year start and second year in the NFL up until now, it's been a growth. So, okay, you say, okay, you look at I'm going to stay on topic with that one right there first. So that's what I was saying. You know what I mean? When we're comparing Mahomes to these guys, the Joe Montanas, the Bradys, the Mannings, the Brees, the Rodgers, guys who have been doing it for that long, we can't compare those guys. I get it. And you could say there's similarities to how they approach the game, or is even similarities into how their season started. Because everybody's saying that, okay, Mahomes is having the best season statistically in his short term in the NFL of any quarterback. And I get that. But who's to say that the next 6 years of his career is going to be as productive? We might not see that no more. And I'm not saying that that's the case, but that's what I'm saying. We have to put that out there when we're having these debates. So that's why I agree with what my man said in an interview, was that the GOAT debate isn't dead. It never existed. So now we're going to go up into what I've been hearing. So everybody's been saying, okay, cool. Kansas City got blew out in this Super Bowl. They got blew out in the Super Bowl against the Bucs. So they're saying, okay, does that hurt Mahomes' legacy? No. And this is why I'm going to say that. When you go back to the last few years, over the course of these last years, for one, just for them to get to the Super Bowl 3 times is a fate in itself. That's just something that a lot of teams aren't going to do. That's something that you're going to rarely see. We haven't seen a team three-peat, but, we have seen with Kansas City, and I think New England one year, with getting to 3 Super Bowls in a row. So that itself is an accomplishment. But when you look at his league MVPs, when you look at his Super Bowl MVPs, when you look at the streak of him going to these AFC championship games, whether it was a win or lose, how can we undo that off of 2 bad games? And I get it. It's the Super Bowl. It's when it matters the most. But okay, all right, so you mean to tell me that just because the Legion of Boom dominated Peyton Manning in that Super Bowl, that's a knock against Peyton Manning's legacy? Was these same conversations had when Peyton Manning lost in that manner? You know what I mean? Was it? Honestly, was the same debates that we're having now was being debated then? So with that being said, that it doesn't take away from Patrick Mahomes' legacy. What is history is history. Nothing could ever undo that. I don't care if Patrick Mahomes come out next season and go 0-16 or don't make another Super Bowl. You still can't take away from him and what he has done since he's been playing the game of football. Now, you can't, like I say, I get it, when it comes to things because, Patrick Mahomes gets so much praise. If you ask anybody who knows football, they're probably going to tell you that if you ask them, man, who's the best quarterback in football right now, they're probably probably going to say Patrick Mahomes. So Patrick Mahomes does get a lot of praise, and in my mind, rightfully so, because for the most part, those games like that we're talking about, has that been a staple of Patrick Mahomes' career? Has it? Has that been a staple of his career? Absolutely not. We've seen nothing but stellar. We've seen nothing less, than stellar majority of his career and majority of the football games that he has played in. So 2 bad games is going to be what you say takes away or that hurts or tarnishes his legacy. Like, I don't necessarily agree with that, man. You're not going to be able to come out there and play perfect every game. You're not going to be able to come out there and win every game. Now, did Patrick Mahomes do some uncharacteristic things with, bad decision making with interceptions? Soon as the ball hiked, pretty much, like Stephen A said, or like Skip said, no, Steven, I had it right the first time, kind of just tiptoeing around the pocket, because he's worried about the pressure, the pocket collapsing on him because it happened so much. So, yeah, did he look like a deer stuck in headlights? Yeah. Should his play in the Super Bowl be evaluated and be critiqued? Absolutely. That comes with the game, because we praise him when he wins. So, obviously, when he loses and he loses to that manner, we got to also say that he's shown us that he's human. So, I get it. We can have those debates about his play and things that he should have done, but to be sitting up there having comparisons to him and Tom Brady, we shouldn't be doing that, because in my mind, that comparison should have never been any comparison. And this ain't nothing that I've been solid on this take since up until this point. You can ask anybody. You know what I mean? Like, I believe that we have to preserve our legends of the past, the Bradys, the Mannings, the guys that, paved the way for these guys that we're seeing now. And just off of a few good seasons or a few games won or a few games played that was played at a very high level that we haven't seen consistently in the National Football League, you don't automatically get thrown into that debate because you just don't have the longevity. You know what I mean? You haven't shown that you can play at that high of a level for years on years on years on years. So, that's my take on that. I ain't gonna go too deep into it, but I kind of want to just kind of briefly touch on it just because that's what I've been seeing. And I mean, I've been seeing a lot of people, man, and the thing that makes me mad is when you see a lot of, ex-NFL players that know how hard the game of football is and know that on any given Sunday, if you don't prepare right and if you don't come out there and execute, then that's the results that you can get. When they make statements like that being a knock on his legacy, you know what I mean? I just don't necessarily agree with that, because his legacy shouldn't even be in the conversation when we're talking about his performance or performances. You know what I mean? When we're talking about his performance in Super Bowl 59 is what we should be focused on. You know what I mean? And the lack of adjustments that they made as a team as a whole, not just with Mahomes, but with Andy Reid and with Spags and with that defense. You know what I mean? So with that being said, man, like I said, I ain't gonna talk y'all to death. I just want to come briefly touch on that video, man. If it's anything, or touch on that topic, make a video on that topic, because that's what's been all over, YouTube and all over the media, is that right there. So if it's anything you disagree with, let me know in the comments. And if it's anything that you agree with, also, once again, let me know in the comments. And just like I said at the beginning of the video, man, if you enjoyed this video, man, do me a favor, smash that thumbs up button. Also, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. And when you subscribe, click that post notification bell, the way you be notified on all things Rob Sports Center. And I'll see y'all in the next video, man.